All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron bringing you your honest astrology daily horoscope for January 8th. It is Wednesday. All right, we've got the sun still in Capricorn. All right, Mercury is getting closer and closer. Now, Mercury is creating that perfect sextile over to Neptune in Pisces, as well as we've got the moon in the later degrees of Gemini. Okay, so that means the moon in Gemini is going to be creating some odd connections up there to Mercury, to the Sun, to Saturn, and to Pluto. Saturn and Pluto both at 22 degrees now, getting closer and closer every day this week to that conjunction happening on the 22nd. I mean, it's already, or the 22nd degree of Capricorn on the 12th of January. I mean, we're there, you know. I mean, the conjunctions, it's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. It's like tying a rope tighter and tighter and tighter. Okay, there's a lot of energy going on. Okay, so it's just like the dominoes have been pushed over, like we've been talking about, and it's just continuing to go and go and go. And how far this goes is like, well, how much work has been put in to this system? How much work has been, you know? It's just like Rube Goldberg, is that what I'm thinking of right now? It's like, you know, it's like this 20-minute long Rube Goldberg video, you know, plays at the DIA, I'm sure, at the Detroit Institute of Arts. I'm sure plenty of people have seen that around the world. It's on YouTube. Either way, you know, it's just like this, you know, chain of events leads to this reaction, leads to this reaction, leads to this reaction, leads to this reaction, leads to another and another and another and another. So the more time that's been set in creating this system, the more pieces are falling. Okay, so there's a lot of pieces that need to fall in one sense, right? There's a lot that needs to change, and that's what's going on here with all this Capricorn energy, the government, you know, 10th house, our how the world sees us, how we see society as a whole. All right, so a lot of things need to change, right? We don't know what grows under the things that don't move. The Jenga game is not fun if the tower is just stacked indefinitely. You know, the fun is playing the game, and when the whole thing topples over, and then rebuilding it again and playing it again. You know, so it's like the tarot. We're in this. It's like the Tower card. You know, it's tipping over. Things are changing. As well, the sun at the 17th degree. Let me show you the chart for a quick second. Sun at the 17th degree. Whoop, whoop. There we go. There you see Mercury creating that sextile over there to Neptune. Okay, Neptune again. You know, it's been stuck at 16 degrees for several you know, weeks here. Slow-moving planet is again about celebrating, coming together as a tribe, coming together as a unity, coming together, all the colors of the rainbow. Okay. All the sexes, all the genders, all the races, everybody comes together to unite as one. This is all, we're all breathing the same air, right? So that's a beautiful connection. And then over here in Capricorn, it's just like, you know, this separation, oneness, individuality, okay? So the more of an individual that we are, the more we're going to be rewarded. That's what this kind of transformation is saying right now. Again, leading closer to this Cancer full moon lunar eclipse. It's going to be happening on the 10th, which is Friday. All right, so we have a lot of information here in Gemini, the moon, our emotional needs. What we need to do is you know, it's these annoying aspects, as you see right here, that quincunx that's going to happen. You know, early in the day it happens with, let me just bring it back. You know, quincunx happens with Mercury. Then it's happening with the sun. You see both of them right there. Then it's going to happen with Saturn and Pluto. Jump. All right, anyway, come back. Okay, so anyway, what is that? What do those annoying aspects mean? It's just like, okay, we're going to be faced with information. We're going to be faced with information that we have to consider. You know, like some of the things we've been talking about the past 2 days, some fun astrology there. You know, so there's going to be some new information coming to light that's forcing us to play this Jenga game, to play that chess game like we're talking about Mars being at the 3rd degree of Sagittarius. You know, how are we going to set up our lives? What are we going to do to set up our next move to ensure a victory, to ensure that we're creating, that what we're creating today is sustainable for tomorrow for us to celebrate? Okay, because that's what all this is going on here. That's what this is about. What are we creating today What are we doing in right now? What are we setting up now to celebrate later. Okay, and as well, we're going to have Uranus go direct in a few days. Okay, Uranus at 2 degrees. I'm going to come back here and talk about this. And as well as you see, Venus still in the last week here of Aquarius. Okay, the very futuristic thinking, community-driven sign of Aquarius. So it's again our heart, what we want and what we desire, is not what is in front of us right now. It's something that we have a vision for, that we're manifesting. Very, very important. That just because we don't have this immediate gratification right now doesn't mean to give up. It's just like, oh, I bought a seed and I've planted it and it didn't grow into the fruit-bearing tree, so I'm walking away from it. It's like, no. All this Capricorn energy is reminding us to be consistent, right? Is to continue to water it, to continue to give it love, to continue to nurture it. North Node in Cancer, continue to nurture it. Seek out more information. How often do I need to water this particular plant, this particular seed? There's our predecessors, these individuals who have done this in the past. Maybe this is a new seed for you, a new seed for me, a new seed for whomever, but there's somebody out there that's grown this plant before, that's done this, that's walked this, that's danced this dance before, and that's very important. Mars seeking out information. Okay, again, and how what we're doing today is going to lead to a better tomorrow. And again, this is not about immediate gratification. So this isn't getting, muscle implants, but rather, exercising daily, even if it's in small increments, and then through the year of 2020 that builds and builds and builds and builds. So there's a fine dance that's happening, coming back to this Uranus at 2 degrees, the 2nd degree of Taurus. Okay, my Taurus friends have got quite a serious year ahead of them, because it's like this is the first full year now, Uranus being in Taurus since 1934. It like dipped in and dipped out for a little bit last year, and now it's in. It's completing its retrograde cycle here in a couple of days. So it's stuck at 2 degrees. Okay, and this is reminding us with all of the Capricorn energy, reminding us like a little by little, page by page, we write that book, by practicing our skill, by just sitting down and meditating for a little bit, or just yogaing a little bit today. Yogaing, is that a thing? Doing a little, just like these little things, as long as we're continuing our practice, Okay, so as long as we're showing up, let's look at this like flying a kite, this 2 degrees of Taurus. Okay, because it's going to be there for a while. So it's important that, if you go out to fly a kite, it's not just, if there's no wind, it's just you running with the kite. It's you are 100% responsible to pull all of the energy, all of that weight, in order to get this kite to remain buoyant, to remain in flight, if you will. All right? So it's like, there's a bit of trust, and there's a bit of like the universe, the wind, right, coming into play here. So it's like there's better days to fly a kite, but it's understanding that it's my effort that I'm putting in, that little bit of run and throwing it up in the air, and then the wind takes over, right? So then the wind takes over, and then I can let out a little bit more slack, a little bit more slack, a little bit more slack. And that is our progressions of a little bit each day, a little bit each day, a little bit each day. Continue to drive, continue to focus ourselves, continue to focus our energy, and focusing on the most important things. To think globally, but act locally. What can I personally do about a global issue? Share a meme on Facebook? That doesn't do that much. Let's be honest. Like it's beautiful to raise awareness, but what can I physically do? That's what all this Capricorn energy is saying. That's what Uranus and Taurus is saying. What can I physically do in this situation? Maybe not something globally, but can I do something locally? Can I do something locally? Can we rally the troops? Neptune and Pisces at 16 degrees. Can we rally the troops to get people together to create something? To create that parade, to create that movement, okay, and something for the positivity. So again, there's like this individual, I need to put in effort, I need to run, I need to know which direction to face for my kite to take flight. You know what I'm saying there? If I'm going the wrong way and I throw the kite up in the air and it just hits me right in the face, Do I blame the wind? Do I blame the kite? No, I learn from this. This Mars over there in Sagittarius. I learn from this. Okay, then I turn around and then I run and then I throw the kite up and it takes flight, right? So it's just like a little bit of my effort and a little bit of effort that's going on through the winds, through the grace of the universe taking over, right? So there's that little bit of a play, but it's a dance. It's like, couples figure skating or something like that. There's a dance happening between our actions and the universe's response, what's going on, And as well, with what's going on with the moon tickling us in Gemini with all of this Capricorn energy, those quincunxes, that 5/12 aspect that's in your blind spot. Okay, that's something that it's not right here in my face like an opposition. It's not right here like a square. It's something that's I can't really see, but it's a feeling. It's our intuitive feeling. So as we're communicating, Mercury is up there making that beautiful connection with Neptune. Neptune is about what? About expansion, okay? Capricorn is like, I only want to communicate what's absolutely necessary. And now we've got the moon in Gemini, which is just like all of the things. I feel all of these things. So there's a bit of play there, okay? Am I expressing, if our communication, our dialogue, what is coming out of my mouth, I have to look at both sides of the coin here, moon and Gemini, and I have to say, is this for the greater of expansion, or is this going to be limiting? Is this going to hurt, or is this going to hurt and limit you? Is this going to hurt and knock you down? Or would this hurt and allow expansion? Would this hurt and lift you up? Or maybe there's no hurt involved at all. Maybe it's just expansive, or maybe it's just demeanor over here. It's like we kind of talked about that a little bit yesterday, playing this chess game. It's just like, are we using our words to lift each other up? Am I speaking through my own personal ego, or am I speaking as a reflection of your higher self? Your higher self being the reflection through me. That's a better way to put that. You know what I mean? When we're dealing with somebody else. So again, we have all of this kind of communication stirring up right now. And there's so it's just like important. What kind of conversations are we allowing ourselves to get into? And sometimes we do have a friend that wants to, a tornado and spiral down. And then maybe it's just like, yeah, I could go on that path with you. We could talk about the politics. We could talk about these certain issues that I can literally do nothing about. Nothing. This conversation's only going to infuriate us, or we can shift that conversation and then say, how can we be productive? How can we unite as together and create that parade kind of a thing going on? That's the beauty between Mercury and Capricorn at 16 degrees and Neptune at 16 degrees of Pisces, where like this expansion meets this hard physical reality. And again, that's another aspect again about Mercury is it's just like, I only want to say what's absolutely necessary. So if it's not absolutely necessary, zip it and throw it out of the way. Okay. So that is our Wednesday. All right. As always, thank you for hanging out with me. Appreciate you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.